with the massive popularity of the 2024 investments video, which did cause a little bit of controversy in the comments, which I kind of love in the community. Here is the one and only free-to-play investments, since obviously that guide was tailored towards more medium spenders and bigger spenders in the game that are looking to try and get all of the heroes. But obviously, us free-to-play players aren't going to be able to do that. So let's go into the best heroes that I think a free-to-play player should definitely be investing into in 2024. Hello everyone, yes, smash a like button and subscribe, and we're back again doing another investments video specifically for the free-to-play players, because honestly from the intro, as you can see, the amount of attention that game was crazy, right? You all wanted a free-to-play guide, so why not, right? And that is kind of what I'm known for. So here we go. I'm going to straight away kick things off, right? Because there's two heroes we know we can put onto this list we don't have to worry about, right? And that is going to be the Husk and Lilia, right? That's off limits. If you're a free-to-play player, you cannot buy these two heroes, because technically if you buy these heroes, you're not a free-to-play player anymore, and obviously you've been spending in the game. So these are off limits, so we don't have to worry about these two heroes, which does make it a little bit easier when it comes to, you know, pairing certain things up for a free-to-play player, right? So we're going to go into it. You can see all the heroes we've got on this like little right side here, and then I've got all of the beauty of the S rank all the way down to C rank, basically. I'm going to do it in this order, and the way I've done the grades is pretty simple. S plus is must-have heroes I think you're going to need. The great invest is basically any hero that you might unlock and you want to invest your actual tokens in. I think they're good at heroes, or great in heroes to invest into. And then the A ones are like the ones where they might be good heroes that you can obtain from like gold keys, but they might be early game, especially like season 1. If you're not looking to get any seasonal 1 hero, you can technically upgrade into these guys too, right? So that's the way I'm going to do it. Nice and simple from the beginning of time to now. That's how we're doing this criteria. So that is how it is. So let's go into the first video, right? Or first hero of this whole malarkey. And I'm going to go over Indis, because I'm not going to lie, Indis is the first free-to-play hero that you're going to be able to get access to as a legendary. And yes, I will admit it takes a very long time to expertise her. But the thing is, this hero, once you even get her at 5155, she is an absolute powerhouse, right? I'm not going to lie. It is somehow overnight, when I've been using her, she has been amazing in the PvP field. Because the thing is with this hero, as you can see, I have her awakened now. You're able to get such crazy damage reduction. So the thing is with a T4 player, and the major issue a lot of T4 players actually suffer with, is when they're attacking players, they might attack a T5 player. And obviously if you attack a T5 player, you're taking like 2,000, 3,000, it can crit and do some nasty damage to you. But if you cut that damage in half, it's actually a lot more bearable for you to deal with, right? On top of this, you've got some nice utility in her kit, as well as the HP bonus, which I think is a very, very powerful passive to have on your T4 units. It's just going to make you survive a lot longer than you would think. And the cool thing with Indis too is the fact that when you have her, and especially when you awaken her, you're going to get this amazing, very far ability which works on all heroes. And that's the kind of beautiful thing about this hero. If you actually do start working on her very, very early on in the game, and just honestly use your dragon trials on her, because you're going to get all your epic heroes for your gold keys. I promise you, man. Just start working on her, because I think she is going to be a must-have, and I think she is, honestly, a must-have hero for free-to-play players. It is just shockingly good how she is. You can pair her up with a bunch of different heroes. You can go infantry if you want a super tanky infantry for like PvE content. You can still go for mages if you want like a supportive mage march. I ran, because obviously I'm a little bit of a spender, I've had the ability to get Lilia, but I ran that Lilia and Indis, right? And that did some insane damage as a quick match. It just shows how good she is, and she supports in the field. So she definitely Definitely worth a must-have spot. Sounds crazy, I know, but this is for the free-to-play players, right? The next heroes I'm going to go through is a couple of, just to fill out some of the gaps, right? The gold key commanders. I'm not going to lie, if you are a player looking for the gold key commanders, the ones that I actually think that are good for you are actually stuff like your Bakshi, your Nico, and obviously like your Garwood. Like these three are really gold key based heroes. I'd honestly just let your gold keys do all the work. And Emrys kind of falls in that same category. However, this is where I wanted to make good investments, right? Some players, and I'm going to give you guys a big disclaimer here, I am not advocating for a free-to-play player to play cavalry. I think it's very bad to do that, right, at the moment. However, some free-to-play players want to play cavalry, right? And if you do want to play cavalry as one of those guys, honestly, Emrys is the probably only cavalry hero that you actually want to invest into in that early stage. Because when we look at Emrys, especially in Called Dragons, like compared to all of the other ones, maybe obviously Forandor when we get to him, but when you look at especially Emrys in the early game, Emrys has one of the key things that I think is very, very important for free-to-play players to future-proof their account, which is having 4 different skills, especially a 5th skill that are all different and all PvP viable, and just you always have up, right? You don't want to lose any investment when you're putting any sort of sculptures into a hero, right? Emrys does some insane single target damage. Let's just be real. He does insane single target damage, and he is, out of all the cavalry, the best at just generating rage and just doing some insane single target damage. Because the whole purpose of cavalry is to kind of swarm your opponents with a few cavalry units to get all that quick, unyielding rush damage. So he honestly promotes the essence of what Cavs want to do, and obviously we know what his passive skill is, right? Just generating even more rage. So Emrys, out of all the gold key commanders, honestly is so much better than the other one, right? Even though Bakshi, some people will argue Bakshi might be a better commander because he has 1420%. I can guarantee you in the long term of this game, this hero will fall out of favor because of the sad, unfortunate thing. He has a peacekeeping skill, and is one of the things that over time in Rise of Kingdoms, this was okay. But the longer the game comes out and the longer more heroes come out, this type of stuff just doesn't fly. And the other heroes that are able to have all the skills do the best work, honestly. And they normally have the most value all the way through, right? So I wouldn't worry about Bakshi. Let his gold keys do its thing. Same with the Garwood and same with the Nico, right? The other hero I haven't talked about in the gold keys, I'm going to bring her up, is Nika, right? And you're probably wondering where to put Nika in this, right? And the thing is, and the sad thing is with this hero, I'm actually just going to put her in the ignore pile for you. You're going to get her through the gold keys. I honestly will tell you, you're going to get her all the time in the gold keys. But you're not really going to be using her. I'm going to be honest with you. Even if you're trying to be an infantry player, even as a free-to-play, most of the time, a Madeline Garwood is just better. You just generate run this, and that's what you want to do. Even at some point, if you just want to run Eliana and Garwood, you're going to tank way more than a Nika. Yes, Nika's going to do damage, but you don't really want to do that with infantry. So I honestly am going to put her in the ignore pile, right? Another hero I kind of want to just say ignore if you are a player in free-to-play, and we are jumping around here, is going to be Theodore. I just don't think as a free-to-play player, personally, you care about Theodore, especially as he is one of the strongest Lord heroes. He's going to be hard for you to obtain. You might get lucky through the Wheel of Destiny, which is obviously a fair argument, and if you get him through there, I just personally wouldn't invest into him. I think there is a better hero, which is obviously Forandil. And I think Forandil actually is a great investment. Even if you don't think Cavs are good for free-to-plays like myself, if you were going to pick any of the current cavalry heroes out of the Season 1 and Season 2 heroes that you want to invest into, Forandil is definitely the one. Because Forandil is literally the entire essence of what we call a very flexible commander for the future, because he has arguably one of the best skills that we've ever seen for Cav so far with cowardice. Like, cowardice is such a powerful mechanic. People probably underestimate it, and it does so much work in the amount of damage reduction you technically deal because of the fact that you're reducing the normal attack damage for them players, right? On top of this, what makes him really good is that you're getting defense penetration, which is a very key stat for cavalry. And then on top of this, you have this beautiful commander and deputy style of a, you know, skill, which means in the future, maybe Generation 3 cavalry, they will be a better cavalry hero than Forendil. But if you put Forendil in that deputy slot, you're still going to get that hero skill damage bonus, and you're going to reduce the rage cost, right? So it's so cool that even if you've got a really good commander in the future, Forendil has the ability to either go in the commander role or deputy role for them. And that's why I think he is arguably one of the better cavalry heroes you can ever invest into if you get him, or if you want to play cavalry as a free-to-play player, right? With this, you're getting that extra little bit of upon arrival, simple as, and then you're going to have Avian Splendor, right? We don't have to go over every skill, but you can see where we're going with, right? Forendil, honestly, for cavalry players, you will enjoy this as a free-to-player. You're going to use him most likely for the rest of time, and I do put him over, obviously, our Emrys, because in my opinion, again, he's only a good investment, Emrys, right? Maybe you unlock Emrys and you might use, for hypothetical sense, 10, 20 sculptures, and that might have just got him to like 5-5-1-1, for example. That's cool, right? If you needed to use just, you know, a couple of sculptures every so often just to get those skills finished, that's cool. But if you were gonna go for all your like generational 2 sculptures for cavalry and you wanted to play cavalry, I'd always go for that Forendil pick and then see what these generational 3 heroes are going to look like to pair with him, right? So now we've got a nice, cool, actually, like, area, I think, in this whole shebang, right? So now let's start finishing this up and getting all the other legendary heroes in, right? So S plus must have, and I think this is still to this day is going to be Kanara. Kanara is just a insane hero for free-to-play players. It is just everything you want. In my opinion, she is almost like the Saladin of the game, right? I always kind of compare, which is funny, the archers as the cavalry from Rise of Kingdoms in terms of hero flavor, right? Because she, even though she isn't doing like a healing reduction, she does some really good like abilities of reducing damage, right? She's reducing all the damage from that target. She's also giving her a boost of attack, and she's even giving you that counter attack damage bonus. And when you finally awaken her, you get a defense break. And the thing is, with all of her kit together, again, with future commanders, I can see her being an absolute amazing hero, right? Being able to, for example, maybe Kanara and Magrat, right? You can imagine that breaking someone's armor, reducing their damage, and every time you're healing now, you're actually, you know, every time you're doing damage, you're healing through Magrat. Sounds amazing already on paper, right? So you will definitely be using this Kanara, and I think she is one you're going to be having, and I think she's a must-have, and you unlock her through Season 1, right? Another actual must-have hero, I think, and I'm going to put both of these two together because these two are infantry heroes, but they're not the pair that most people are going to go for, right? And I still think to this day, and this is now going for a free-to-play player, like I say, Madeline is easily a must-have, because no matter what anyone argues, yes, Goresh Skogul does more in the meta, but that is the meta right now, right? We're not talking about the meta right now. We're talking about heroes that I can invest into, and I know after this meta, the next generational heroes or the heroes after, I can still use this hero because they've got really good skills all the way across the board, and obviously I can use them. And the thing with Madeline compared to all of the other heroes in the game, when you do finally awaken this hero, and even at like 5-5-1-1 or 5-5-1, because she's that good as an infantry hero, you are literally the best tank in the game. And that's the whole point. You are the best tank in the game, right? But if you want the best kind of like bruiser and damage dealer as a free-to-play, then you're going to go for Skogul. And the thing is, if you have both of these and you kind of want to play infantry and you went for it, I think these are technically, if you're an infantry player, the must-have combo, because you're going to have the best of both worlds here. You're going to have the best easily single tank in the game, and then you've got arguably the best DPS enabler for infantry, right? Because the thing what people overlook when you are obviously assessing like Skogul is, the thing is, she has that double counter strike, right? So she's basically dealing double of the amount of counter strikes that you are going to everyone around her, right? Which is so powerful because it means you're getting additional triggers and you're dealing obviously additional damage, right? And the cool thing with these two heroes too, as you can imagine with this actual combo, you actually can stack them both together. Who would have thought? You can actually use these guys two together and they're going to be fine for a free-to-play player. Yes, you'll be surprised how much damage these guys will pump out together and tank on the open field. But now let's go over the last, obviously, infantry guy on the list, which is Goresh. And this is the one where if you have Goresh, and this is the only way you're going to get Goresh is through most likely the Wheel of Destiny, unless you are a crazy T4 free-to-play player and you've saved all of your speed-ups to try and compete to unlock him. Or if you're fortunate to unlock him even in the PvP side, right? You could have done it in that way. If you do get him, I will call him a great investment still, because I do think no matter what, Goresh at 555-1 and even at 555-1-1, he is an insane infantry hero, right? But he's so hard to obtain for a free-to-play player. That's why I'm not going to put him as a must-have. Because the thing is with these must-have heroes, it's all about accessibility and are they good for the future. And so far, all of these heroes that I'm putting up there are definitely accessible and definitely good for the future. Because you're always going to have basically all of these skills that are going to be relevant due to debuffs, due to PvP buffs, due to just how easy they are to obtain, right? So, with that, we've only got a few heroes left, right? And I'm going to go through the last two gold key heroes because I think both of them technically should have their own category, right? And this is Valen and Fear. And both of these, I am going to just put in the A category because I do believe they are good investments if you're an early game player, especially if you're a free-to-play player, because they are gold key commanders. And the thing is, I purposely, and even myself, I haven't really invested into any of these heroes. Like, I've let them kind of cut the way they've done through the gold key or the gold chests, right? And as you'll be able to see now with my Valen, I'm already at 5533, right? So he's getting there, he's getting there. But if some players are in Season 1 and you're planning to play Mage for the long term, I do understand where people say he's a good investment. Because he is, right? Because I do believe to this day, he's one of the best mages in the game still. And the reason why he's still one of the best mages in the entire game is everyone overlooks the fact that you're getting 15% damage bonus on your hero skill damage, plus 20% march speed, which is so key for mages and PvP gameplay. On top of this, you're getting the crit bonus and the magic unit defense bonus, so you obviously take less damage and you're dealing more damage. And then on top of this, again, you're doing double reductions. You got a magic defense reduction and a march speed reduction against targets, right? On top of all those passages, you've got a beautiful AoE and an Awaken, which is extra damage. It's an additional ability. So this is 5 unique abilities, all tied to a gold key commander. So if you did want to, again, like I said with Emrys before, if you're at a stage where you're at these skills and you're looking at them and you're thinking, oh, I need only 5 or 10 of my sculptures and I can pop that hero up, I would recommend doing it, but I wouldn't use all of my sculptures, right? I wouldn't use 55 sculptures right now on Valen to max him out. It just isn't viable. Because the thing is, every time you are investing into a gold key commander, you need to remember, once they are maxed out, until they bring it out, those extra heads you might pull in the gold keys are useless, right? So you don't want to keep pulling Valen heads if he's awakened when you could have, you know, saved basically now 20 legendary sculptures. So that's kind of like the arguments for both and against, but here, are all, you know, the heroes I think you should be able to invest into. And Fear, as you can see, I've put in the same category, right? Fear, I think, is just as good as well, right? Fear is one of those heroes, I think, that flew quite low on the radar. And at first, a lot of people was actually super excited about her, right? Because originally, a lot of people thought when she originally came out, she shielded a load of, you know, allies, right? But the way she actually does this, it's just she shields herself and one extra ally. But that's still good. That is so good, because that hero that gets the shield still gets the hero skill damage dealt factor. And you can imagine now, when you've got all these skills, again, that are all PvP related, all stat buffs, and all help mages exclusively, you're going to actually like this hero in the long run, right? Whenever there's more mage heroes, more flying mage heroes, you're going to be still using Fear in the longest of time. Because I think out of all of the actual like mage heroes out there, she's one of, if not the highest percent of just straight up buffs in the game, right? She has 50% worth of stats here. She has another 40% worth of stats here, basically, when you, or 30% stats here when you're going up. She also has another 30% worth of stats on this. And then on top of that, you get another 15% worth of stats. You can see it's just stat city, right? So she is a good hero that when you do work on it all the time, you're going to get her. But you can see even mine's still not, obviously, up there and fully awakened and that, but I'm still using her and she's actually cooking for me, right? So those are most of those final heroes, and you can see we've only got 4 heroes left, which are more of the newer heroes. And I do find this one actually hard to talk about, because the thing is, all of these heroes, I think for a free-to-play player, might be considered good. But I think for a free-to-play player, I'm going to be honest, with the brand new archers that have come out, I think, well, I think Freygar is just going to be a good investment too. And it's going to sound crazy, I know. But I think she's going to be a good investment, because I think the problem with Freygar is that we've seen so far, she does realistically only work with Syndron, right? The thing is, I do want to theory test her and check her out with the Zadar, because Zadar and Freygar looks like it would work, because it would give you around 85% crit damage, I believe, if I've worked it out correct, which is kind of nutty, right? So if that works, maybe she might be a good investment, but because of that, I don't think she is, right? But Syndron's in that same boat as Goresh. And I think if you are able to unlock this Syndron at any given point as a free-to-play player, even at 5-1-1-1-1, he is the best and great investment that you've ever seen. Like, this hero at 5-1-1-1-1 still will out DPS pretty much any of your other marchers that are not awakened. He's just that good. He literally is that good of a hero, unfortunately, right? But obviously, I understand that you might be free to play. You might not be able to actually earn this hero, right? So that's why he's on the S tier, right? He's on that S tier. The next 2 heroes, I'm going to, again, fit in these 2 boats. And Toha is going to be in the same thing. If you can unlock Toha like Syndron or like your Goresh, these are actually great, you know, investments, because you're going to be able to invest into a strongest lord hero, and they're some of the best heroes in the game by far, right? Especially Toha. Toha is insane. I think he's one of the top 3 heroes in the entire game, right? That's how good he is. But you're not going to be able to get him all the time, right? Not every free-to-play player is going to be able to get him. So I hope so far this list has been very fair. I've given you very fair understanding on all the heroes. And to finish it off, we've got Bertrand. And I think with Bertrand, especially for free-to-play players, he's a must-have. He's definitely a must-have for free-to-play players. I do not care if you are thinking I'm talking, you know, trash or shit, whatever you think. He is definitely a free-to-play must-have. The reason why this hero is a free-to-play must-have is simple. When you're playing free-to-play, you're generally League of Order, right? And when you're League of Order, you have mages and celestial units. And generally, as well, if you didn't know, as a quick little tip here, Celestial units are better, just across the board, flat out, been proven. So you can just use Celestials all the time, right? But with Bertrand gives you two things. He gives you a additional pairing where you can run Bertrand with your Fear. He also gives you that pairing of Bertrand and Atheist. So even if you don't have a good Fear, and your Fear is like 5-1-1-1-1, but you have an Awakened Atheist. I am telling you, a 5-1-1-1 Bertrand with this Atheist will surprise a lot of you as a free-to-play player. Those D4s with this match does insane damage, and honestly, I was outbeating a lot of players running Fear and Bertrand, and the only way I would lose is generally if they have technically better tech, or if their Fear was specifically 5-5-5-1. If they're 5-5-1, it's going to outclass you, right? But that takes a while to get there. So Bertrand, I think, is definitely going to be one hero you're going to use. Because the thing is, he's already like an insane single target DPS. Yes, I will admit it's kind of hard for you to get compound interest, but it's extra damage at the end of the day for you. But who knows? In the future, there's going to be more Celestial or Flying Mage units. And the more that comes out, Bertrand is actually going to become better and better, right? Because you could be running again. The whole premise of this is running 2 or 3 Flying Mages, or 2 or 3 Mages, 2 or 3 Archers, right? And stuff like that. So definitely don't sleep on Bertrand. If you're a Mage player, you're definitely going to be unlocking that hero, right? So pretty much this is everyone on the list. If you understand now the categories, you will understand why these are in their positions. This isn't about the best heroes for free-to-players. These are the best, or the best way to invest if I was a free-to-play player, right? And this is pretty much says it all, right? Because this, if I was going to rank these, it would look completely different, right? Completely different. But this is if you're trying to invest, you're trying to put in, you know, the best amount of heads in those certain heroes to maybe get them up a couple of skills to get them to a usable state for them, right? So I hope that helps you guys out. This has been a free-to-play list for you. I think it's a very good list. You let all your gold key commanders on the B, let the gold keys do their thing. Anyone in the C tier, personally, I would ignore. But then, if you've got these gold key commanders, or if you unlock Freyga on the lucky spin, they're good investments. They're going to be good heroes. Even if you just get Freyga to like 5-5-1-1, you're going to be happy, man. You're not going to be, you know, losing out too much. But the greater investments are going to be the triple SLE heroes, so the Strongest Lord events, and Forindel for the cavalry. I just think over time as a free-to-play player, if your plan is to play cavalry, he is the best one for you right now until we see these new generational free heroes. And then the must-have picks, if you are playing this game, are easily going to be Kanara, easily going to be Bertrand, and to me it's still going to be Madeline Skogil for inventory, and you're going to have Indus there for the free-to-play Dragon Trails that you will earn, right? So that's pretty much it. That's what I think you should have. You might disagree, that's fine, but those are the ways I think you should be investing as a free-to-play player in 2024. So if you've enjoyed this video, smash like, comment, and subscribe, and until the next one, stay safe, stay sneaky, and peace out.